Hi guys, welcome to today's episode. Today we are going to start working on a new data project that I thought of. Initially, I was thinking about making and covering data from the basics, but I also felt like there are a lot of YouTube channels already explaining it. So I thought I'll do something different, and the whole channel will be more about how we approach data projects practically and how we understand, analyze, and get insights from the data practically. So today's video and a lot of forthcoming videos will be a bit raw because I will be doing everything from the scratch without any filtration. Of course, there'll be a little filtration so that you guys don't have to get, well, bored through the video. So today I was going to start researching on a particular project where we are retrieving data from a particular YouTube channel to understand and analyze what's the trend going further. So this YouTube channel is Free Code Camp. They have a lot of videos for tutorials on different programming languages. If you want to learn, go check it out. It's a great channel. They have a lot of sessions where they start from the basics of different programming languages and well go towards the advanced stuff. It's completely free and it's so good. It's very much overlooked and people don't realize it's so good. Anyway, so my thought process behind this project was I wanted to understand what are the new programming languages that are in trend or what are some new programming concepts that people are more focusing on currently. For example, after ChatGPT, everyone might be starting to learn AI, machine learning, and they might be very much interested in it. But I wanted to understand from a YouTube channel statistics such as views, likes, to see what the trend is. So the whole part and parcel of the project is I will be extracting a lot of views, likes, comments from the YouTube channels. I will go through different playlists of this particular YouTube channel to understand how the trends are going for each and every particular playlist. For example, there's a playlist on Python or JavaScript or machine learning in general. So then after retrieving all the info from these channels, I will be analyzing the data set that we have extracted from the YouTube channel to gain insights and eventually conclude which language or particular concept is in trend. Yeah. So of course I might be able to find all of this with one Google search, but it's boring. That's why I myself try to extract data and then work on that data. I mean, you can find a lot of data sets. If you're just starting out as a data analyst, you can just find a lot of data sets. There are various different sites where, for example, there's a government site that discloses various different statistics, and then you can analyze that data. Of course, there's um, a lot of websites that release different data sets for you to analyze, but it is always usually clean and that's not the real world scenario. A lot of data analyst projects that I have seen, and I myself have done it because I didn't know what else to do. But usually, just they just pick up clean data set from random websites and then just go and analyze it. It's not that fun. I've done it myself, to be honest. I've done few projects where I've just picked up data set and then analyzed the data set, but this is something new. This is what I was always interested in doing, like getting data from the scratch rather than using the data which is already available on the internet. So this is what we are doing today. Of course, you need to understand Python for this particular video because I will be using Python to kind of extract data from the YouTube channel. So yeah, if you don't understand Python, I will try to explain a few things here and there, but this is not a Python tutorial to be honest. But don't worry. I will also link a lot of videos down if you don't understand Python for you to understand it, but I'll do my best to explain it. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so I wanted to show you a basic research method that we use for developers. Like as a developer, when you are researching for a particular project, you go to Google. I mean, Google is your best friend as a developer. So let's start. Let's look at Google APIs first. Yeah, I'm doing this very raw, to be honest. It's difficult and I'm not good in front of camera, but here we are. Anyway, so looking at the Google APIs, there are so many different APIs that Google has that you can use to extract different types of data sets that you want, or even automate a few things here and there if you know good enough programming language, sorry, knowledge, and yeah, you can go ahead from there. Anyway, so let me first explain what an API is. API is, in basic terms, is something that a lot of websites already have. So if you want to access some particular information from a particular website, you will go to that website's API documents and look at it. For example, we are looking right now at the Google Data API, which is what we most likely want to use to extract data. So when I speak of APIs, you are making an API call, which is usually you call to the Google API or YouTube API for this matter, to extract a particular information. An API has been already set up by YouTube for us developers to retrieve a lot of data. If you want any kind of data, of course, this is the publicly available data. So yeah, whenever you are making an API call, it directly goes to the YouTube servers, and then we directly receive the response to that API call. APIs make our life easier, of course. For example, let's say there was no API in place right now. So what would we would be doing is going to YouTube and let's say some random video, the code camp, and we would be going to our, well, developer tools and settings. Crazy. Anyway, so let's see this video, okay? I'm not going to play this video, but let's double click this, inspect, and suppose we want to extract likes. So this is the HTML elements that you see. So HTML is the language that you usually see on all of the websites. It's the portion part of the language where suppose this title, it might be this Rahul Pandey, so it's this shop. So you might be able to find one of the tags here. It might be a title tag or something like that. Anyway, so we had to go into a lot of detail to get the information that we want and look through that whole HTML resource. But API makes our lives easier because they have already kept it in place. Like this is the way you can access it. I'll show you how the API usually works. Let's go to the YouTube Data API. Of course, you need to enable this. I've already enabled it. This is only in a private window that I'm showing it to you because I don't want to disclose my API key. Uh, it's very important not to disclose your API key. Anyway, so once you enable this, there are a lot of videos where on YouTube that you can follow and just do it for yourself. So don't worry about this that much. Let's go into documentation. We need to understand that APIs and documentation is very important. Let's see, add YouTube data, for example. Okay, this is our documentation overview, the YouTube data API, as you can see here. You need to read through all of this to understand what you are working with. I know it's a bit overwhelming at the start, but once you get used to it, you can just skip all of this to go to what things you need and identify the important things in the particular documentation that you need to look at. For example, we need to look at a video. So these are the resources that are available in this particular API. So let's see video. Of course, we want this video. We directly have it. So when you make an API call to this video resource of the API, it will have all the information that you require directly. I'll show you how. Okay, let's see. Anyway, let's go down to understand how. So the list resource retrieves a list of various resources. So We probably have a list section under this video to retrieve data. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, let's scroll through and see if we find anything useful. Okay, we have some code examples here for us to understand. Anyway, nothing important here. They are just introducing the API and how to use it. Let's go to the quick start guides of Python. Yeah, so you need to install Google API client to run the code. You need to have an API key, of course, which is important. So API key is something that like basically it's like a password to you, like API key. If you have this particular API key set up, you'll be able to use this YouTube API without any issues. Of course, you might face some issues here and there, but it's not necessarily because of the API key. Anyway, moving forward, let's first Google how client. Since we have to download Google API client, I decided to Google it. So this is how you research. You find a few pieces, bits and pieces here and there, and then you go about researching it. Anyway, I'm just looking through if there's anything important here. This example, retrieve channel data. Okay, let's see this example, channel list. So yeah, like I told you before, that all these YouTube videos, YouTube categories are particular resources that you can use to extract data and make your API call. Of course, there's a list inside, etc., etc. Like I said, the list is something you'll receive once you make that particular API call for a video ID, for example. If there are 10 different videos and you make an API call using list by video ID, they will give you 10 video IDs for that YouTube video. Anyway, so moving forward, this was the this was the sample that they have used for the example. Let's go here. What do we have here? Okay, this API Explorer. Okay. Okay, I understand. So once you go into full screen, they also have code samples here for you to understand how the usual basic code looks like. Okay, you need to most this is very important, looks like it. It's everywhere. I'll Google it once I'm done reading through the code. YouTube channel, we make a request, we execute that request and print the response. Okay. Anyway, so let's go to Google APIs. Okay, this is a particular Google GitHub page that is been set up. Let's go to the introduction. Google API client. Let's go to the documents folder. Getting started. You need to have API key to use this. You need to also Google. You'll find a lot of things easily once you start Googling YouTube and understand how to create an API key for the YouTube data we are working on. Of course, you don't have to use the same project, but if you just are starting out with Python, I would suggest just doing and understanding what I'm doing and think about a different project on your own. I mean, that's where you learn the most. You Google 100 different things to understand 5 things, but yeah, you are learning when you are reading, so go ahead and do that. Anyway, looking at the quick start guide, okay, we need to import Google API client and then import build class. Okay. Oh, okay. Build drive version 3. Okay. So I saw something like this. So when you are using build, if I'm not wrong, once you import build, you will be able to do this. Okay. Okay. Understood. Okay. What do we need for now? I understand how we are writing the code, but we need to find what we are looking for. Maybe videos, list of videos. Hmm. you need to read all of this to understand what all things you can do with that particular API. For now, we need ID of a particular video, and I'm assuming statistics. Not sure though. We'll find out. We'll find out. Let's go to our VS Code. Okay, I've already created my API key, which is in this .env file. This is something, it's called an environment variable where we create this to not disclose it basically. So anyway, we are going to import from Google API client, import, build, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, yeah, sorry, not here. Yep, import, build. I'm also importing the .env. I'm not going to disclose it right now. I'll explain it to you once I'm done. Right? Let's go. What else do we need? Hmm, maybe pretty print. Okay. We also need to import OS. So to access the environment variables, we need OS, and yeah, that's how we usually do it. Yeah, so now we need to, well, once we are done importing stuff, so whenever, sorry, I forgot to explain what we did here. Sorry, yeah. So this is basically we are importing a few libraries. So libraries is something that all programming languages have. This also makes our lives easier. This is pre-written code that we can use to access and do certain things. For example, the API thing, it's also a pre-written code that we are keep making a call, and it is directly retrieving data for us in the background. So this is the same thing. The other libraries, for example, the .env library or print library is something pre-written, and it is just helping us write better code and make our lives easier, because there are a lot of people who have worked on it. There are few projects that are open-ended, and these are the projects that are worked on by a lot of developers for making their life as well as our lives better and easier. Anyway, once we are done importing stuff, the first thing I think we should do is the API key, of course. This is the, when I say API key equals to, it means we are assigning this particular variable, that is API key, to a certain value. Here the value is the API key that I can't show you right now, but it's saved. So yeah, it's saved in this .env file. Anyway, moving forward, next thing we need to do is create a request variable, if I'm not wrong. Let's see. And every time you are confused or trying to understand what the next steps are, you go through the documentation to understand what to do. You don't need to know everything by heart. That's the whole thing of the coding, that you only need the basics such as variables, for loops, while loops. These are the things that you need to learn. Apart from that, everything is fine. You need to Google stuff a lot, and you should be okay with that. Anyway, let's we need to create this thing, service of build. So build is something where we are building the request that we want to make. So I'm assigning the request variable. Should I assign request? Now I want the name to be YouTube equals, so build, what else, this go in this. So this drive means I think it's pointing to Google Drive. So we need YouTube. So we need to use YouTube. Then version 3. I'm not sure if version 3. Let's see, supported APIs. Scroll down, scroll down. Yeah, YouTube is also version 3. So that's what we will write here. And what else do we need? I'm assuming there's a developer key. Yep, there's always a developer key tag for us to call to an API. This is what we did do here. Anyway, what next? We have made, this is our object for making API calls. Now, suppose, what do we want next? We want video list and we want statistics. So, okay. So, videos list. Okay. So now we need to make a request to youtube.videos.list. And what else do we need to mention in here? Part, I guess part needs to be got to statistics. And do we need something else? For now, nothing. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, we need a particular YouTube ID. YouTube IDs you can usually get in this way. For now, I'm going to access it like this. Let's see. So yeah, so this you have a YouTube ID right here after equal to. Yeah, let's copy this under ID. Let's paste the YouTube ID. We also need to execute this request. So I'm keeping, once you execute this request, it will be stored in this response variable. So let's do request.execute, and I want to make it look good. Am I doing it right? Not sure. Let's see. This is how you figure out if it throws an error, it throws an error, right? Oh, oh my God. It worked directly in one shot. That's impressive, right? Usually it throws 10 different errors before you figure stuff out. But yeah, that is also important. Once you get an error, you need to Google that error, try to find out what is wrong with your code. It's pretty fun as well. That is very important. And this is like a scenario of once in a blue moon. First attempt code is not something everyone is able to get right, but here we are, only experienced people, and I'm not one of those, definitely. But yeah, only experienced people will write a code, and well, it won't throw an error once you at the first execution of the code. Anyway, so we have a comment count, we have like count, we have view count for this particular video. Okay, this is what we need, but we also need something else. So we need a lot of videos from all the playlists of the channel. This is the basics that I've shown you. And I of course need to keep this video small for you to understand and not get bored. So I'm going to cut short the video here, and we are going to work on extracting all the data from different playlists and all of that playlist videos, and then compiling it into a CSV file for us to analyze later. Let me quickly recap the code for you. First, we imported a lot of libraries that will help us understand and write quick code, because these libraries are already have been written for us and we can use this. This is publicly available. Yeah, so once I stored my API key in this particular variable, I created a YouTube object using the documentation that we found here in the Google API, where they told us to create a build using the Google API discovery import build. And we created a YouTube object of version 3. For example, we need the YouTube data API of version 3. So we did this. We put in our developer key. All this is a requirement for this particular build function to run. So you need to have YouTube and the version. I think these are compulsory requirement, and developer key and other requirements are temporary and optional. Anyway, so after doing that, I made a request to your YouTube data API videos. section, and then the list section where we retrieve statistics, which is a required parameter. As you can see, without this parameter, you can't run the particular code. You need to have some value into this particular part parameter. It can be ID, it can be snippet, it can be whatever, but you need to have one, one. So I'm blurting things out. You need to have one value basically in the part parameter. And since we wanted statistics, we did statistics and we got the statistics of the video right here. Of course, we put the video ID for the YouTube API to directly point towards that particular video that we want. This is just a base case, and we will do a lot more because we need to extract data from all the playlists and all the videos inside those playlists and kind of categorize those playlists and videos. We will do that next time. For now, thank you for watching me, Data Wizard here. Keep an eye for the next video, and if you have any questions, please comment it down below. I'll also put some video resources for you to understand how maybe an API key is generated on YouTube, and a few concepts that I spoke about today in the YouTube playlist for you to easily understand that is readily available. Thank you for watching. See you.